Get strong.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am back here with another deck profile, and today it's actually going to be an updated deck profile of Redagast the Brown. If you don't know what Redagast the Brown is, if you haven't seen that first deck profile, Redagast the Brown is a legendary creature avatar wizard that came out in the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth set from Universes Beyond. Now, when I first did the profile of this deck, I did it about 3 weeks before the release of Ixalan, and I decided, now that we're a good few, probably actually within a month, about a month into like when Ixalan got released. Actually, no, it'll be way more. It came out in November. I forgot that we're in January. So yeah, about 2 months, and I put in cards from Ixalan into the deck, and obviously the deck is really strong and really fun. I'm actually enjoying Redagast the Brown a lot, and it's possibly my favourite commander of 2023. And yeah, I think we should go straight into it. For those who don't know, Redagast the Brown, when he or another creature enters the battlefield, you may look at top X cards of your library, where X is mana value. For example, 4. We look at top 4 cards of our library. If there's a creature among them, we can add it to our hand if it doesn't share a creature type of a creature we control. For example, if Redagast the Brown is the only creature on the battlefield, I can't add an avatar or wizard. But if I don't control, say, a squirrel, I can add a squirrel to my hand. Like, a lot of my friends underestimated the power of Redagast, because they keep forgetting it's now once per turn ability. It's just whenever him or another creature enters the battlefield. So yeah, he's really strong, and I'm having so much fun playing him. Now, in the deck, I do actually have some duplicates. I have at least 10 duplicates, so I just dropped the card. So, Suraka Tribe Elder for a snake. It's just a sack. Search for a basic land on the battlefield tapped. We have this snake cat. It can't be countered, and creature spells I control can't be countered, so it just is here just to make sure that none of my bigger boys get like counter spelled and stuff like that. I'll go with Autumn so we can have a look at the top card of our library and play lands, because we run a lot of like 7 drops, 8 drops, and we need as much land as we can. Plus, if I control 3 creatures with different powers, I may cast creatures from the top of my library. The second human is a Howlpack Piper. Pretty simple, can't be countered. You pay 2 mana, tap, put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, which is great because that triggers Redagast. And if a player casts no spells during their turn, it goes from daybound to nightbound. And whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Howlsong Howler, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of the library in order, and then it goes back to day if at least a player has cast at least 2 spells during their turn. Next, we are running a Elvish Piper. It's basically the same thing except for 1 green. Tap, put a creature off from your hand onto the battlefield. For the last elf, we have a Beast Whisperer, so when we cast a creature, we get to draw a card, and then when that creature enters the battlefield, we can then scry X. So really nice to have. And then we have Keen Die for our god. Most important thing is, the most important things, creature spells cost F1 less, and pay 3, look at the top card if its creature adds to hand, or may put it into my graveyard. And then and for the second god, it's actually the green god from Lost Cows of Ixalan. I really like this guy. He's a 6/5, 5-drop trample. So when he deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put a creature card and or a land card onto the battlefield. And then you put the rest of the bottom of the library in a random order. That is really good because he's a 6-drop with trample, some damage is at least getting through. And then, since all the new gods, except for the black and blue one, multicolored black and blue one, skeleton god, when they all die, they come to the battlefield transformed as lands. And they all like tap for their color, but then you can pay free if conditions are met. For example, for this one, if I have at least 10 of opponents, you can pay free, tap, and this guy transforms back into the god. Obviously, he does come in tap because he doesn't exile himself. So unfortunately, that will not trigger Redagast, but we do instead have our god back on board. For the last kind of duplicate, obviously, we're running an Apex Ultrasaur. As the battlefield fights, and when it takes damage, fights again. And then, obviously, we're running Big Boy Golter, because Golter is nuts, because you can get such a massive hand with this deck. You don't have the mana to then cast them all, but with Golter, you just have to pay the 8. As long as it doesn't get countered, pay the 8, and just put your entire hand on the battlefield, so then you have multiple triggers of Redagast to then restock your hand with new creatures. So these are kind of like the most important ones, because they can deal with a lot of stuff. Now for the regular creatures. Also, I should say there are a total of 29 creatures in the main deck. I say in the main deck, in the deck. We have a Mandragora Hydra, a Elysian, I can't say the word, my brain, no. We have a Hornet Queen. A lot of these cards were already in the first video, so I'm just gonna quickly go through them. I think we all know what these cards do. Tusky, a Thorn Mammoth, Endless Web, Call of the Hunt, Asher, Kodama, Silverback Elder, Pathbreaker Ibex. I love this card, it's so good. It's a cheap man, Greater Hoof. It only costs like tenner. Like, I think I got for a tenner on card market, which is good. Goreclaw, Loyal Guardian, Twin Grove, Enrave's Forerunner, Cemetery Prowler, Old Gnarbone, and a Prosperous Innkeeper. So yeah, only a few changes with the creatures, but those few changes in the deck really improved it. I'm really enjoying Redagast. Unfortunately, my opponents aren't enjoying Redagast because I become the threat and I try to get dealt with. Ooh. Let's do. We still all have fun. Oh yeah, I forgot about the last creature. Solemn Simulacrum. And the battlefield. Put a basic land on the battlefield tapped. When it dies, draw a card. Almost forgot about this guy. So yeah, that is it for the creatures. A fat stack of 29 of them. Now we go on to the artifacts. Now, obviously we're running a command deck, so we run a Soul Ring, a Fort Vessel to help with unlimited hand size, Throne of Eldraine to help with mana. When it enters the battlefield, you choose a color. Example, choose green. It taps for 4 mana of the chosen color, but that can only be used to cast monocolored spells. And then you can pay 3, tap this, and draw 2 cards. Only mana of the chosen color can be used for that. And obviously, Great Henge. So it taps to add 2 green and you gain 2 life. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it gets a 1/1 counter and you draw a card. Again, helps with draw because having a hand full of guys sometimes hurts and you don't have any like other spells, sorceries, instances, artifacts to kind of help. Caged Sun to help with mana because, for example, we're running tons of 8s, a 9, a bunch of 5s. Emerald Medallion to make my guys, my green spells cost 1 less. The monument that says green creatures cost 1 less. Also, when you cast a creature, target creature gains +2/+2 from trample, so ways of getting trample on board. Elixir of Immortality. I decided to add Elixir of Immortality, and I really like it, especially when times where the old fear I had with this deck is if I get board wiped, I'm kind of out of the game because I have no other ways of putting my guys back into my deck. So I thought Elixir of Immortality. You pay 2, you tap, you gain 5 life, you then shuffle this and your graveyard into your library. So again, your creatures are back in your graveyard. Also helps with cards like Jabuka Bog, which exiles my graveyard, which also very hurts the deck. Monster Manual, so either pay 3 for its adventure, you mill 5 per creature among milled into your hand, or you pay 4, pay 2, tap per creature from your hand onto the library. From your hand onto the battlefield. Pretty simple. And then we have equipment such as Swifties, Lightning Greaves, and Stings. Stings in here for example, for both the Pipers, because having them on tap at the beginning of each combat is really good, because if I've got mana up, there's another guy coming into my battlefield. Okay, so now for the instances. We're running a World Tutor so we can see creatures. Well, we can search for the creatures we want and put them on top of the deck. Tameo Safekeeping so we can give out, so example like Radagast Hexproof. Heroic Invention so we can give our permanents Hexproof. Early Harvest. I really like Early Harvest. I have a load of basic lands in this deck. So being able to untap all of them again is really strong. It allows me to cast even more cards. This card's so underrated and so cheap. If you guys run, like, for example, I run 23 basic lands. If you guys run a basic land heavy deck, play this. This card's really dumb. We have Beast Within to get rid of potential threats on the board, like any permanent that I don't like. We then have an Enters Restoration. Sack a land, search for 2 basics, or if you control a creature of power 4 Grey, you instead search for 3 basics put on the battlefield tapped. So I could get 3 basic lands just on the battlefield, chillin', for when I need to summon Radagast again. Return of the Wild Speaker. I use this for draw power, that's all. I never use the non-humans get +3/+3. No, we don't need that. Draw is what we need. So yeah, that's kind of it for the instances. I don't think I've changed any of these from the first profile. I have changed a few sorceries though. Sorceries I have changed a little. Bushwhack, search for basic land or target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Nature's Law, search for forest. Free Visits, search for forest. Cultivate, Kodama's Reach. These are pretty much the same card, they do the same thing. Traverse the Outlands, Green Sun Zenith, or Zenith, depends how you pronounce that. Pay X, I could pay like 9 mana, here comes an Apex Octosaur. Green Sun's Twilight, reveal top X +1, so if I pay like 5, I look at top 6. I reveal creature I reveal a creature and put it into the hand. A creature and or land, put them in hand. If X is 5 or more, and instead put the chosen cards onto the battlefield or into my hand. So just, yeah, I'll have more guys on board, thank you, and an extra land. Cheeky. Commune with nature, look at the top 5 cards, reveal a creature, put it into your hand, the rest go back to the bottom of random order. Just any way of seeing a creature is good. And then for the last one, it's actually March of the Ents. I did have another creature, a draw heavy creature card in here, but I took that out because I drew a lot of cards, but I didn't have other ways of getting creatures out on board. Last March of the Ents is great because it can't be counted, so you're safe when you pay that 8 mana, Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Yeah, it's stupidly strong for a card that says it can't be countered. Really dumb card. Like, I can't remember what it's called, but the card I had was a draw cards equal to greatest power among creatures you control, and then you can cast a card without paying its mana cost with 5 or lower. I decided to take that out for last match to the end, and it works. It works very well. I do enjoy it. Now for the enchantments. I don't think I've changed the enchantments at all since the last video. So we do have a Tribute to the World Tree, a Garruk's Uprising, Court of Garenbrig. One day I'll learn how to pronounce this card, but I don't know how. It just gives my creatures hexproof, which is pretty strong. Unnatural Growth, my big boys get even bigger during the combat. Elven Cortus, basically I can look at the top card of my library. That's all I'm using for. And Virtue of Strength, so one force can give me 3 mana. Or I can pay 1 and adventure it to target a creature or land in my graveyard and add it back to my hand. Usually it's a creature. I don't really run that many sack lands in here, so it's kind of a bit of a waste. Next, for our 34 lands, we have Shrine to Nyx, Sunken Citadel. Like, this card's insanely good. I really love this card a lot. I like so much I bought multiple copies of this. Because, yeah, it comes in tap, but you also choose a color. It taps for that color, and plus you can tap to add 2 mana of the chosen color. Spend this mana only to activate abilities of land sources. So this one land can tap for Shrine, Cabal Coffers. It's really, really good. Again, if you guys don't have copies of this, get them. It's like 150. Man, so many cheap magic cards in like caverns are really, really strong. Man, I like magic. Mosswort Bridge, Hideaway, Gingerbread Cabin, Castle Garenbrig, Fangorn Forest. Again, a lot of these lands now, other than this is pretty much the only new land. A War Room, Renegade Tower, again help with hand size. Rogue's Passage, Temple of the False Gods, and Maywood Landscape, and then a fat 23 basic lands for a total of 34 lands. Now, normally my videos would be a bit longer, but because this is updated, I don't really have to go through all the little details of every single card. I only have to go through the details of a few cards I added. Good old Redagast. I love this card a lot. The deck is really fun. Sure, I had to actually... Some of these cards aren't cheap, but they're worth getting. Like, for example, like the Golter. Some of the spells in here aren't cheap, but they're worth getting. They are seriously worth getting. So, yeah, that has been the Redagast Brown update deck profile. I'll leave a link in the description to my Arca deck where you'll find the profile, because I am now writing down 100 cards in the description. Nah, bomb there. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will most likely be doing some more updated deck profiles in the future, and hopefully some more Let's Discuss. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.